They were there. Of course. So you can better understand. Another question. Almost the same music class, the same technique. And this is the music room because of the musical instruments. For example, the harpsichord over there dates back to 1692. And it was restored 2 years ago. So that's why it's here. But the room is also important from the story. Because in April 1955, Mussolini from Italy, Pierre Lavalle from France, and Ramsey MacDonald from Great Britain came on the Isola. So this is where the Stresa conference took place. And well, they so this was one of the last tries to avoid the World War II. As you know, it didn't work, it didn't happen, because the following year Mussolini joined Italy. Then he changed his mind, he joined Germany, and so that's why the last try. Over there, you can also see the copy of the conference. So this is not the original one, this is just a copy, but as you can see of the treaty, there are the 3 signatures. So Pierre Lavalle from France, Mussolini from Italy, Ramsey MacDonald from Great Britain, and so on. I remind you, 1935. And on the left, to the left, you can also see 2 secretaries. These kind of pieces of furniture were used by noble families, by rich families, to hide secrets, such as jewelry, coins, documents. This is where the name comes from. So secretaries for secrets, and you can see all the drawers where they could hide everything. As you can see, it's full of drawers, and even inside there are secret drawers for jewelry, for example. And both come from Florence and date back to the 18th century. And they are decorated with precious stuff. And now we're ready to see a guest bedroom. So the next one.
It's just a bedroom. It's just a bedroom.
So this is a guest bedroom. the reception floor of the palace. And the private bedrooms of the family were upstairs, on the second and on the third. So over there you can see the bed where Napoleon Bonaparte, you know, Napoleon Bonaparte slept. And in here you stand. You know, here there are three islands. Isola Bella, Isola Magna, Pescatori. Isola Pescatori still belongs to Italy, to the state. So they have their own only two islands. Isola Bella and Isola Magna. Only two. And now, if you look at the ceiling, you can see that it looks like stucco. It looks like it's not. It's
Painted.
the trunk. It looks like that it's not. And as you can see, it's Baroque. It's like a real 3D. But please, the crack there is real. It's not painted. That's because of the humidity and because of the edge. On the floor, you can also see the this piece is almost like a hug on the floor. So it's not full. And the furniture there. This is another symbol of purpose. So they represent the three dimensions. So we spots and so they were the three dimensions. They are only now we're going to go to the library. And in the library, the floors are original. So they date back to the 17th century. Okay? So almost 400 years. And from the library, to the right, there is another separate library. Yes.
It is. Wow.
It's huge. Very heavy. So as you can see, the library isn't very big. I mean, the main one actually is upstairs in the private rooms. So this is a reproduction of the main one that the family made for the museum. Because you know, here there are about 1,000 books, and upstairs more than 10,000. So that's why this is just the smallest one. So here there are books that date back to between the 16th and 19th century. So that's why there are Latin, Italian, and French books. And you know, there are different subjects. So there are philosophical, botanical, scientific, religious, literary books. So as I told you, almost 1,000. The three armors, they are Spanish, date back to the 18th century. If you look at the smallest ones, you can see that no children must wear armors. They didn't fight when they were young, but you know, in the noble families, some children had to become, and they must become soldiers in the future. So they had no choice. So that's why during parades, for example, they wore them. It was a sort of training to prepare them for their lives. And what about the gun? It's very big. It weighs almost 20 kilos. So more than 40 pounds. It means that it was used almost like this, I mean, with a support. You know, it was too heavy. It took at least 2 people to hold it. And so that's why it was used more like a cannon than like a gun. Too heavy. And it dates back to the 17th century, so 1600. Above the library, you can also see 3 paintings. In the biggest one in the middle, there is Naples. This is the main square in Naples. On the right and on the left, Venice. So this is Piazza San Marcos, so the most famous one during the carnival. If you look, for example, at the frames of the ceiling, you can see that everything is less decorated.
Yeah.
So as I told you before, 1 century. So it means that there are different styles in the palace. We saw the Baroque, which was the oldest part. Now we're entering the newest, I mean the most recent part of the palace, and so that's why the style is different. So we're entering now the neoclassical style, so the style of the 1700s. So that's why the chandelier in the next room is not opaque.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Still Borromeo, but
Uh-huh.
it's
Clear.
more tiny. Yeah. And also the ladies, the dark and also the entire where there are many religious needs, mythological scenes. So the painter was Luca of the 17th century, the end of the 17th century, and he painted some Greek mythological scenes. So that's why we can see strange characters. For example, over there you can also see mermaid, and so mythological character. And you know, Luca Giordano, so the painter, was also known as Luca fa presto. So presto means fast, quick, because he painted with both hands at the same time. It was ambidextrous. Painted really fast, and so that's why he had nickname Luca fa presto, so Luca Bo. In the center of the room, on the table, you can also see saddle made of ivory. So this was made in Venice during the 15th century. This is one of the many gifts that the family received. You know, when people came here, they always brought something to the family, such as an ivory saddle. It was never used as a saddle, you know, not very comfortable. This is just a decoration. And in the world, there are only 20 saddles like this. So it's unusual to see an ivory saddle. You can also see another fireplace in this room. And on the cabinets, I mean, all the pieces of furniture, all the flowers are painted on marble. Can you see the pieces of marble?
Yes.
Like a mosaic, like
Yes.
the floor, for example,
I
and then
know.
the flowers are painted on them. And then, you know, there is the glass to protect them. But this is painted marble, so something interesting to see. So this was the work room. As you know, it didn't work. I mean, this is where women came to embroider or to paint. So you can see there are two windows. So when the sun is up, I mean, when the sun is shining, there is a good light coming from the window, so that's why they came in this room. On the walls, we can finally see some family members, some ancestors. For example, the two people towards the lake, so on the wall in front of me, they are the great grandparents of the present owner. So we are at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the last century. Emilio Borromeo, the man over there, and his wife, Elizabeth. So this woman was a very good artist, and she painted the one with the dogs. So she was very talented. As you can see in the cradle, there's baby, so her baby. But you can also see that the main characters of the painting are the dogs, not her baby, because she painted always animals. So that's why the dogs, for example, and we can find once again the unicorn, the humility, and the camel. So once again, the symbols of the family, and there is also her signature. Elisa Borromeo, so that lady, that woman, and we can find the same woman over there. So on the other wall, there is the same woman but younger. We can see the same person but in two different periods of her life. On the other wall, Gilberto, the fifth Borromeo, so another ancestor with his wife. So here on this wall, he's very young. On the other one,
Not so.
not so young. He's older. So the same person. And as you can see over there, he looks like George Washington. He really does. So this was the same period, so the hair is almost the same. And please look at the birds. I mean, don't miss them because they look like a painting or embroidery, but they are micro mosaic. So it's a mosaic made of tiny pieces of different stones. So tiny, so they look like micro. No, she didn't. They are another gift from Rome. Yes, they are. So the artist has good eyes.
Yes.
And patience.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So this is the room with the properties of the film. As I told you many times, the purpose was to impress the people. And when people entered this room, they could see how many properties the film had. As you can see here, there are lots of things. It means that they had lots of properties. So up there, for example, you can see a castle. This is the Arona Castle, Arona Fortress, which was in the south of the lake. So Arona is a small village nearby, so always on the Lake Maggiore, but unfortunately it doesn't exist anymore. So it was destroyed in the beginning of the 19th century. Over there in the center you can also see the Isola Maggiore, so the island that showed before, so the other private island in the lake. On the left you can see two palaces, near now, still today private because as I told you they live in Milan and so that's why they have properties as in Milan. And on the other wall there is another fortress, another castle. This is in Angera. Now we are in Piemonte, but Angera is in Lombardy, so on the other side of the lake. And in that fortress there is the Dome Museum. It means that you can visit it, it's open to the public. As you can see, many properties became museums, they're still private. So everything goes to the family to maintain the palace and all the people that work for the family. And if you want, you can even rent it. So you can rent the castle for parties such as wedding, birthday. So the family is here. If you want, you can check the price. Okay. And now we're ready to see one of the best. I think these are here. So first of all, when you enter the room, you will see the chambers. So this is the most beautiful palace. So this was constructed at the end of the 17th century. And on the table, as you can see, there is a basket of flowers. As you can see, it looks like a painting, right? But just like the four birds that you already seen, it's mosaic. This is another micro mosaic. Wow. It's made of glass. So the material is painted colored glass. This was made in Rome at the Vatican. This is the Vatican School of Mosaics. That's why this was a gift from a Pope. Oh yes, from the Pope Leo XII to the Count Gilberto Borromeo. The one I showed you before, the one who looks like George Washington, he was ambassador in Rome, at the Vatican, for the Emperor Francis I of Austria. So he was ambassador to the Vatican, so that's why he received a gift from the Pope. You can also see the date, I mean the year. We are in 1825, and they say that it took about 8 years to make this.
Oh my.
There are more than 20,000 pieces and 250 different colors. Can you imagine that?
No, one artist.
One artist, one person. The artist was Domenico Moglia, so he worked for the Pope. So this is really the masterpiece. And have you seen the snail over there?
Mm-hmm.
So the snail, it's funny to know because this is the signature of the artist. You know, it took about 8 years. The snail is very slow, so it symbolizes patience, and so that's why he decided to start with the snail. He was not presto like the other one, like the painter. He was a little bit slower, so that's why there is the snail. Yes.
It's so cool, yeah.
Now, are you ready to dance? As you can see, the style of the most recent rose is very nice, especially the color. The color is nice, and the material of the room looks like marble, but it's not. It's an imitation of marble, very good one. So the material of the room is stucco, plaster, just painted stucco. So it means fake marble. I mean the walls, the stages, the ceiling, even the floor, everything is made of stucco. And this was made because of the acoustics. You know, the acoustics is better with stucco. There is no echo. This was the ballroom, so that's why they wanted a perfect sound. It was also lighter than the marble to carry here, and at that time was very common to use stucco instead of using marble. And so that's why there is no marble at all. And the chandelier, as you can see, it's more shiny. It's different from Murano. This is Bohemian crystal. So this is crystal that comes from the Czech Republic. So you can see the style changed, and so the chandeliers did. So another style, another material. And now we're ready to go downstairs to see the most bizarre part of the palace. Because on the ground floor there are 6 caves, 6 grottos to see. On the sofas, once again, the Eurico and the children. So as you can see, the symbols are really everywhere. Not on another one. So before the first grotto over there, we can see a collection of puppets and marionettes. You know, at that time there wasn't TV, and so this is the way they entertain the guests. They organized the shows not here on the ground floor, but on the first floor. First floor, that was the reception floor, and all of them are made of wood and paper mache. They date back between the 18th and 19th century. You can see a lot of characters coming from all over the world, and some of them are very scary. Especially in the corner over there, you can see scary characters such as a skeleton, a devil, a witch. So they organize shows to entertain the guests. But this is the smallest one. The biggest theater of puppets is on Isola. So this is the first one. Okay? There are 6 of them with the same style, the same materials, and the same purpose. So when it was too hot during the summertime, the family came down here. This is the coolest place in the palace. So this was like the air condition of the palace. So that's why they came down here. So they used it as summer apartments in order to stay cool and fresh. Unfortunately, it took 80 years to build them. So the founder never stood the end. And it took 80 years because of the materials we can see here. For example, on the floor you can see pebblestones that come from the lake Maggiore. So they were found in the lake. And as you can see, each stone has the same size, almost, and the color is natural. So they're not painted. Then, on the walls, you can see marble. This is real marble. The white one is a tufa, a volcanic stone, and the black rock over there is lava. So that's lava from Vesuvius, from Naples, which is in the south of Italy. So that's why it took almost 80 years to find the materials, to collect them, to carry them here on the Isola Bella, and then to decorate each grotto, because you will see that each grotto has the same materials but different decorations. So each one is unique. On the tables you can also see corals, shells. Here there is both. As you can see, it seems that we are under the sea, under the water. So that's why there are shells and corals almost everywhere. I mean, in each room there is something that reminds us the sea, or at least the lake. And out of the windows there is the private garden. So that's the private one. Okay, so now we can walk through the second, and we will stop in the third. You can also see that the walls are really thick and so big. This is also the northern part of the palace, so that's why it's big. And in the grottos at that time, there were chairs, sofas, tables, so they could really spend the hottest days during the summer. Have you ever seen something like this? No. Something unique.
We have them in England.
Oh.
Lots of the large castles.
And grottos like this.
We usually have them to the outside.
So you can. Oh yes.
Just go
Oh
straight
yes.
in part of the walk away from the building.
So here in the third one, we can see other gifts. For example, in the center of the room, you can see a statue. This is the Sleeping Venus, made of Carrara marble, you know, the white marble from Tuscany, very precious one. And this is a neoclassical statue, so made during the 1700s. We can also see 2 Chinese garters, which are a gift from an ambassador, from a Chinese ambassador, and the porcelain. So both the services come from Vienna, from Austria. So it means that they had guests from almost from all over the world, from China, Austria, from everywhere. And there are gifts everywhere. So, what about you? Have you brought something to the family? Do you have a gift? No? Nothing? Ourselves. Okay. So you paid the ticket, the entrance. That's your gift.
Exactly. Or so.
So in the front grotto you can see another Carrara marble statue, so the same artist of Venus. This is Flora, you know, the goddess of flowers. So that's why she has some flowers in her hand. And the boat that you can see over there is a Venetian. This is the Bucintolo, the one that was used by the Doge in Venice during parades, for example. And the original one was 30 meters long. Okay, it was made of wood and it was gilded. Yes, with gold. And unfortunately, it was destroyed. So it doesn't exist anymore. But in Venice, there is still today the Bucintoro Museum. So you can see the museum, the history of this historical boat. And on the tables, once again, corals, shells, seaweeds. So once again, the sea and
Oh, God, yeah. 80 years.
yes.
Art decoration.
Because maybe for the family, we're not sure, okay? But the shell comes from pilgrims. You know, the shells are one of the most famous, most known symbols of pilgrims. And the name of the family, Borromeo, probably comes from Bon Romeo. Bon Romeo in Italian means good pilgrim. So maybe there is the shell everywhere because of this reason. But we're not sure. So we really don't know. And maybe it's because of the origin of the name of the family. And please, ladies, on the table, I'm going to show you some jewelry that are not sparkling. Because they are made of bronze. Bronze. So everything on the table dates back between 1400 BC.
Wow.
So it means that they are almost 3,000 years old. This was the Bronze Age, the Etruscan age. You know, Etruscans were here before of the Romans, so 3,000 years ago. You can see a necklace over there, some tiny rings, bracelets, pins, so some of them are jewelry. They were found nearby, not on the Isola Bella or under the Isola Bella, but you know, when they found them, the state, Italy didn't exist. The Borromeos were the owners of this area of the lake. They were found in a private property, so that's why they're still today in a private museum. Wow. So that's why they still belong to the family and not to the state. And behind you, you can also see a boat. It's like a canoe. It's as old as the jewelry. But it was found under the mud. So it preserved the wood, almost 3,000 years old. And above it, you can see what it looked like. So you can see the original one. It was very, here there is just a piece of this big boat. And on the right and on the left, the potteries, so the same age. So they were found in Germany. And remember, Etruscan age. Etruscan people. So they are very ancient, but as you can see, they are in good condition. Okay, now we have the last drop. And you can better understand why 80 years to build them.
Whoa, this is a big one.
So all the harnesses, the saddles that you can see in this room were used only for horses parades, but not here. On the Isola Bella, there weren't any horses. It was too small, too complicated to carry here horses. So they were used in Milan, and they date back to the 17th century. In the center of the room, you can also see another model. This is the Isola Castle, the one I showed you before upstairs, the one that was destroyed. And as you can see at the end of the room, over there in front of us, there's a fish. And from the mouth of the fish came out water. So in this grotto, there was a fountain. So they could come here and stay cool, because of the grotto, because of the breeze that came from the windows, but also because of water. So they had everything. They even had water games, such as fountains in the grottos. Why not? They could, so that's why they really wanted to create, to build something unique, something special. So that's why they built grottos like this with fountains. Okay, now we're ready to go back to the first floor. We have the last part now, 3 more rooms to see together, and then you're free in the garden. So before going up, we'll stop here for a while. And over there you can see money. This is like in Rome. Do you know the Trevi Fountain? Yeah. So almost the same. So wishing well, to be lucky or to come back here. And when they opened to the public, that was empty. But we don't know why, really. But people started throwing money. Yeah. And so that's why we say that if you want to be lucky, if you want to come back here, you can throw a piece of money. But we stopped here because if you look up, you can see spiral staircase. It's amazing to see that there is no support. There is nothing holding the stair because the walls of this tower are 3 meters thick, okay? And the steps 3 meters long. So 1.5 meters is inside, stuck in the wall, and the outside, and the other part is outside. And it leads into the private rooms, so we must stop on the first floor. So we have only 25 steps to do. Behind the door over there, there were the kitchens. So it was used only by servants to bring up the food. Because for the family there was another staircase. So this was only the service staircase. Okay, and the material is granite. So this is not marble, it's granite. I don't know if you've seen the quarry in the mountain. So behind the Fisherman's Island there is a mountain with a big quarry. It's a quarry of granite, and this comes from the quarry, so from that mountain. So it's a local material. Okay, so now we go back to the first floor. Thank you.
Windows to a room.
Yes. Over there, no. There is a big, but over there, yes. So above us there is another. And sometimes there are fake windows to have the symmetry between the walls, and so sometimes they're fake. So did you like the palace? Yes. Very good. It's hot. So here the humidity. And your favorite. Okay. And especially during the winters when everything is closed, when the windows are always closed, so the humidity. No. We don't.
What about in the private apartments? Do they have air conditioning?
I'm not sure. There is no heating, and I'm sure of that, but I'm not sure if there is air conditioning. I've never been upstairs, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh dear.
I've never been invited. No.
Really?
No, not yet.
You just started to work?
No, this is my 5th year. Okay. So I'm waiting, but Nothing. Okay, so now before ending the tour, we have the corridor of mirrors. It means that you're so lucky that you're going to see yourselves 10 times on the right and 10 times on the left. So enjoy yourself. So if we stop here, we can see ourselves many times. So can you see my hand shaking? So 10 times on the left. That's really neat. And on the right. And on the right and on the left. You know, sometimes one is enough. More than enough.
Lei è quella cinese, no? Ti stiamo cercando una guida cinese?
No, sono io. Ok.
Ciao Napoli.
Was the sister of a monk, okay? So it was the sister of the Pope Pius I. They are in the middle of the 1500s, so she never saw the palace. She was also the mother of Saint Charles. So here we can see Margherita with her two children, Vitaliano, Federico, and Carlo. This is the one who became saint. Do you remember the humility? So this was his motto. So San Carlo, so he became cardinal when he was 22. Was really young. If you look at the clothes, you can see that both they are dressed like cardinals. It means that they had to become cardinals in the future. You know, his uncle was Pope, and his cousin was cardinal too. So it helps. Do you know the word nepotism? So this was nepotism. So as I told you, the richness comes from banking, right? But the power comes also from the church, because they had 9 cardinals, 1 saint, and they were related to popes. So they were related to the most important Italian families, such as the Medici family. So we can better understand how powerful this family was. By the way, this is San Carlo Borromeo. And have some guys, they are towards heaven, towards God. And so he's the one who became saint. Now we're ready to enter the last one, which is the tapestry gallery. Poco però.
Senti, ma che abbiamo fatto? Perché lo stanno mettendo?
In realtà ieri sera c'è stato un concerto. Sai che ci sono le settimane musicali? No, la famiglia era arrivata la e domani c'è non lo so sinceramente. No, io mica suono qui. Solo posti high.
Solo piena.
Certo. You know, in this room, the acoustic is really good. So that's why yesterday, so last night, there was a concert. So over there you can see a piano. So there was a concert here. And tomorrow there is another one with an harpsichord, I think. So here the acoustic is better than in the one with the dome. So that's why here. And here,
The colors are really good, aren't they?
yes.
I mean,
They are. So the tapestries here comes from Brussels, so from Belgium. They are Flemish tapestries, and they date back to the 16th century. So they were made in 1565. So handmade, and the humidity affects also the tapestries. You know, they've been restored some years ago, and so that's why they are in good condition, and that's why the colors are so really beautiful. The materials are cotton, silk, gold, and silver paper. This is the same collection. As you can see, each tapestry has the same border and the same frame. And on top of each tapestry, there are also some Latin sentences that come from the Bible. But in the tapestries, there are only animals. So here the animals represent good and evil. And the main thing, as you can see over there, is the fight between good and evil. The fight is represented by animals such as wine and the mythological animals. We can find once again the unicorn, but that isn't the unicorn of the family. As I told you, Belgium, 1640. It means that the tapestries were not made for the family. They came in the palace as a gift. As a gift from a cardinal, but later, at the end of the 19th century. So it means that it doesn't represent the power or the strength of the family. This is because of the perspective. Have you ever seen the Mona Lisa? Her eyes are almost the same illusion, but I will not look at it. So this is another mosaic. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the tour.
Thank you.
Now you can enjoy the rain.
Thank you so much.
Arrivederci. Bye bye. So as soon as you go out, if you need the restroom,
Thank you very much.
upstairs. Ok. Ciao Marco. Buona giornata. Divertiti.